Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Sabres Talk. My name is Dylan, and today we are going to go over my lineup predictions for the Sabres going into this next season. I'm rocking the red jersey today as we talk about my predictions for the lineup. So just really quickly, I'm using the War Lineup Creator tool. It was created by someone on Twitter at Sean Thierry, I believe. I'll leave it linked in the description if you want to fool around with it, and I'll link his Twitter as well. And before I get into this, I do want to say these are just my predictions. Obviously, going into the season, we have a new coach. I don't know what his strategy is. I don't know how he envisions this lineup and how he wants to use these players. This is just my prediction of what I would do. I think some of these players can really move anywhere on this lineup, especially on defense, but I'll get into that when I get to defense. So yeah, for right now, let's just jump into the forwards. Skinner and Eichel are locks for the first line, left wing and centerman. I think that's pretty obvious, judging off their performances last year together. And then moving to the right wing, I think this could be really anybody. Really anyone on the right wing could play on the first line, I think. But for right now, I'm sliding in Connor Sheary there. I've seen people say Jimmy Vesey because, him and Eichel are buddies. Honestly, I think any of them could benefit playing on the first line with Eichel, but I'm going Sheary here, as I see also a lot of other people are predicting this as well. But Sheary coming off a disappointing season. I think he could have done more, but I think he mainly played with Saboka, so playing with Saboka will do that to you. But putting him with Eichel is pretty proven that playing with Eichel will make you a better player. So I think putting Sheary on Eichel's wing going into this season will really elevate his game. And I don't think we'll see a season like a disappointing season for him like last season. I think he'd improve on Eichel's wing. So going into the second line, I have Casey Middleset as center, Sam Reinhart on the right wing, and Victor Olofsson on the left wing. Now going into this line, I firmly believe now that Sam Reinhart can run his own line. We've seen him with Eichel pretty much his whole career, but I think he's at the point now where he can really drive his own line. And I think it would really benefit from spreading out the talent on this team as well. Moving Reinhart to the second line, he could obviously play first line with Eichel and Skinner, but I think moving him to the second line will benefit. Now the second line centerman position, I think, is also up for grabs pretty much. I think you could slide Evan Rodriguez up to there. He's proven he could play top six, but I have him sliding to the third line. Marcus Johansson has played centerman before, but that was a while ago. I don't know if he's comfortable doing it anymore, so he could go there. But like I said, it all depends on what the coach thinks is best for the team, and this is just my opinion. So I have Casey Middleset sliding in here. Obviously did not have, he did not live up to the hype of last season, which I kind of predicted. I think some people were a little too high on him going into last season. He was just thrown into a bad situation. After the O'Reilly trade, he was brought in kind of be the replacement and to kind of, I think, put up similar points to O'Reilly, which I just thought was pretty unrealistic for his first year anyway. But going into year two, I think he'll be a lot better of a player. He'll improve a lot going into this next season. So I have him going on to the second line. Now moving to the left wing, I'm going with Victor Olofsson. Now if you're not a Sabres fan, you probably don't know that name too well, but obviously for Sabres fans, he's a pretty exciting prospect in this organization, coming off a very good season last year with Rochester, 30 goals and 63 points in 66 games. And I just think I think he's ready for a top six role. His shot is obviously deadly from what we've seen from the last few games he played last year. Incredible shot, incredible goal scorer. So I just think throwing him onto this, I think he's ready for the second line. So for right now, my top six is Jeff Skinner, Jack Eichel, Connor Sheary, Sam Reinhart, Casey Middleset, and Victor Olofsson. So going into the bottom six now, going into the third line, I have Jimmy Vesey, Evan Rodriguez at center, and Marcus Johansson. Marcus Johansson and Jimmy Vesey being the two newest, well not newest, but they're the two newest players on this team going into the organization. Vesey was acquired from the Rangers. Johansson signed as a free agent. So for right now, I have them on the third line. Oh, and Rodriguez obviously re-signed this offseason. For this line, this is kind of just where I'm throwing them for now. I think Marcus Johansson could play second line. I think Vesey could play first line. I don't think he should, though. That's why I have him on the third line. I see a lot of people say he should play with Eichel, but for right now, I have him fitting in on the third line. And he did play with some pretty bad players on the Rangers, And Evan Rodriguez and Marcus Johansson are a lot better than who he played with. So I think he could have an improvement year being on the third line with Rodriguez and Johansson. You guys know, if you watch my Evan Rodriguez resigns video, I'm very high on Rodriguez. I think he could even play second line center if Middlestat isn't ready. But for right now, I think just the best place for him is the third line. But like I said, I think he's a lot better of a player than a lot of people think. He's a perfect player for this team, a perfect centerman for this team. So I have him just sliding in on the third line right there. And then, you know, back to Johansson real quick. He's the playmaker of this line. You know, Johansson is a proven playmaker, so, you know, having that playmaker on the third line, left wing, you know, he'll be the playmaker. Rodriguez will kind of drive the plays, and I think Jimmy Vesey could kind of be the goal scorer of this team, you know, this line. Obviously, he was brought in, I believe he had 15 or 16 goals this past season, so, you know, he's providing scoring depth, which is something Jason Botterill has been talking about since the end of last season, adding scoring depth to the lineup. I think just adding Jimmy Vesey on the third line, you know, adds that. So moving on to the last line on offense, obviously the fourth line. I think Girgensons and Larssons, you know, they played really well together. Obviously, they didn't really play well. They're not really good offensively, but defensively, they're really good. Which for a fourth line, that's kind of something you need. Larsson is a very good defensive player. Girgensons is replaceable. I wasn't really too high on him re-signing, but you know, he's okay. And then this right wing fourth line position, I think could be, you know, I think really you can slide in anyone here, but I think they have Okposo sliding in here. Other than Okposo, I think it's really up to how camp goes. Like I said, with some of these spots, you know, I could see Okposo sliding in here. I could see, unfortunately, Saboka, which I don't want, but you know, it could happen. You know, Tage Thompson could have a really good camp. He could, you know, maybe play on this fourth line. Someone like Curtis Lazar, who they brought in free agency, could have a really good camp and slide in here. But you know, for that, we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, this is my offense going into this season. Just my predictions, guys. So yeah, let's just move on to the last part of this video, which is the defense. So moving on to defense, one thing that kind of is obvious here is Lawrence Pilot. Lawrence Pilot is injured right now. He probably won't start the season, but so for his spot, I kind of have them throwing in Scandella and moving Jake McCabe up and Scandella on the third line. But for what I want is I want Lawrence Pilot on this team. I think he's ready, but he's just a better option than Scandella. But like I said, he is injured right now, so for the start of the season, he won't be in the lineup. But I think going forward, when he's healthy, he should definitely be in the lineup. So I just want to address that real quick. So yeah, let's just get into this. Dahlin, line one, insta-lock, all day. Best defenseman on this team by far. Shouldn't play anywhere but the first line. I don't think Ristolainen should play first line. I think they really need to take the load off of him. You know, this is just going off of today. This is August 7th when I'm recording this. Ristolainen is still on this team, so obviously I'm going to include him in the lineup. Will he be on this team when the season starts? I don't know. So yeah, obviously don't know if he'll be on this team this upcoming season yet, but for right now he is on the team. So I think, you know, sliding him down could benefit from him. He obviously he can't play top minutes. You know, he obviously has good point totals, which a lot of people look at, but those are mainly power play points. And defensively, he's just terrible. So I think just if he is on this team, I would rather them slide him down and move someone up like Brandon Montour, who I think could play some top minutes along with Dahlin. I've seen some people write about Colin Miller sliding up to right D. Sliding up to first line, which, you know, I would be open for. I don't really have an opinion on that. I haven't really looked too much into it. I know a lot of people on Twitter have talked about it though, so I'd be open for it. I know he mainly played bottom for Vegas, so I don't know how comfortable he is playing top minutes. So I guess, you know, I'll look into that a little more, but for right now, I have Miller on the third line with Jake McCabe, and like I said earlier, I have Lawrence Pilot on this team right now. But for opening night, I'd move McCabe up to second line, and for this left spot, I either have them going with Scandella or, you know, someone maybe like Gilmore from the Rangers organization who we signed. I think he could be a long shot to make the team, you know, opening night, but we'll have to wait and see. So this tool kind of predicts like standing points, And for this team right here, it predicts a 79-point season, which would be an improvement from last season, but only by 3 points. Now, I do see them improving this season, with these new players that they have and this new coach. But I don't really want to get into that too much this video, because I do have like a Sabres preview video I want to make where I go over my expectations for this team and what I think they'll do this upcoming season. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. These are just my predictions. So yeah, like I said, that's it for the video today, guys. My next video, I'm not really too sure. It might be the preview video I talked about, but yeah, I'm working on a Sabres pump up video. If you know me from my past channels or from Twitter, you would know I usually post a yearly pump up video. I'm working on that now, and I'll probably upload that somewhere in September. So you guys have a good one. Hope you liked the video. If you're new, hit subscribe. If you like the video, hit like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.